Good. 10 to 6 this morning. Oh, here's the backup version. Yeah, the whole thing. Interesting. I didn't know that he had. Good job.
Thank you. How are you?
Oh, that's good. There's a count.
How are you doing?
Oh no, that's the
Yeah, I think Paris is.
You want to hear it? You want? I'll bring the other one.
How are you? How are you doing?
Okay. When you have coffee chesed, so you can go to okay. Sure. Not working.
Huh?
I'm not working very hard. Sure. So I'm working more than 4 now. I don't work for this. That's it. Hashem our son.
Fresh. Then Sheben lots of Parnasa, Nachas, Shidduchim.
It's not next Monday, Monday after. My grandson getting married from here.
Oh, wow.
He's one of the elite of Ateret Torah
Oh, yeah?
in my name, yeah. He's 24, he gives you a ring.
Wow.
It's going to be very, my son says, very, very religious. And, and in July, middle of
He wears
July,
black hat?
he wants me to. I have a headline.
But he does, the grandson.
Yeah. He and his brother also.
Oh, yeah? Mm. Oh, Nachat.
So I told my son, so get the head. I have a head to fix it, steam it.
The store will do it for free. You know, you give it to, they come into the store.
Even bothered to.
You bought it in that store, yeah.
If you didn't buy it there, it'll go for like 15, $20. יש קידוש יותר? כן, קידוש גדול. גדול. כמה חלות?
Rabbi say we're holding page Taf Lamed Beis.
First one I know what the paper is. 8 שקלים. מי? בנס.
I'm thinking we're in the middle of Taf Pei Tes. I think we should take a break and go to the dinner of LaG B'omer because it's this week. And we can go back. And then Taf Tzadik, in Amud Taf Mem Zayin,
It's just Pesach.
it's all connected to Pesach. Yeah, it's the right one.
Huh?
So,
When?
yeah. Taf, over here it's Taf Mem Gimel, not Taf Mem Zayin. I'm sorry.
Oh, do you know how now?
Taf Mem Gimel. Dinim anoigim b'mei ha'omer boi tesifim noigim shalis the isha shestaper bein pesach atzeret shemisabel lachofta alafim mitamid rekiva shebeisu b'yom halalu. V'lomot lai shiduchim b'lei nisun. You're allowed to make a shidduch engagement. Shem yikam menu acher. Someone else will take the shidduch. Mota gam kin lasei seuda la'acher shiduchim. Oi la'acher kedushin. Those days they used to make the kedushin separate from the times of Chazal, separate from the Nisuin. Now, there is Shidduchim. Shidduchim Apiyala is not marriage at all yet. But then there's Kiddushin and Nisuin, or instead of the word Kiddushin, Erusin. It used to be that Amal was that someone wanted, after they made Shidduchim, they would do Erusin. The Chosim will give the Kala a ring. You have Shloisha Drachim, Bekesef, B'shtar, B'biyah. But the minig is a Mekadesh Bekesef with a ring. You give a ring, say Harayat Mekudeshes Li B'tabazu, that's Moshe Yisrael. And now, have Kedushin. She cannot get married to anyone else. She needs a get.
But she's not married.
But they didn't do the second step yet, called Nisuin. Nisuin is the Knesset L'chuppah when she moves in. After the Kiddushin, he goes back to his house, she goes back to his home, and they prepare for the wedding. They have time now to prepare. He goes home, she goes home. Then they have Nisuin, where they Chuppah, Sheva Brachas, and they move in together. She leaves her house, she goes with him, and they start a home together.
So how you just
That's Nisuin. Now we don't split it up anymore. We don't split it. We don't do Erusin, Kiddushin, and then a year later Nisun. No, we do them both under the chuppah. And what do? We say first the bracha, Sha'asa lanu, Sasuris lanu, Vehita lanu, Suis lanu, the chuppah Kiddushin, right? And he said that like that she gives the ring. That is Kiddushin or Erusin, it's called, the same thing. Then we take a break to separate in between the two stages, the two parts of the process. And before Nisun, we read the Ksuba. We honor someone, or mechabit someone to read the Ksuba. Why do we read the Ksuba? You need to read it? It's written in the shtar. She needs to know, he gives it to her, it's good. The reading is a minig to be mafsik between Eris and Kiddushin, and then Nisun. After the Ksuba, and by the way, we use two different cups. There's a kais that we say the bracha on, and we give them to drink right afterwards. And someone else finish it off. It's finished. Then there's after the kis ksuba is nisuin. When we do birchas nisuin, and we do a second cup birchas nisuin, we give them both to drink. And then they go into the yichud room. This is all part of the nisuin. Now over here he's saying like it was those days. Sheduchin. This is a shidduch, just an engagement.
Okay, fine.
Yeah. Umuta gamkin las sud la'achar sheduchim. And then he has an oy la'achar kiddushin. Like in those days, you're allowed to also make a kiddushin during the svira. You're not allowed to make a nisuin. No, you're going to show lisa isha malash nisuin. He wants to give her a ring and say, "I am mekadeshesly and no one else." That you could do, but that she should move in with each other, easier. But if people want to see each other, then you shouldn't wait too long. It's not good.
You see, but I have to ask.
Yeah.
That's a eat twice a week, and then we say we come to their house on Shabbat, and we go on Shabbat to their house.
Sure.
Their house.
Yeah.
It's a move.
Yeah. But they don't make such a big time in between. It's probably 3 months. Yeah. Okay, because you don't. The Rebbe was very against for pushing off. It's not sniut. It's not a good thing, healthy. And people, you're like this middle stage, either this way or that way. To be a yeah. Okay, they do it. Depends how much trust you have, you know. As much as we don't understand that, the non-Jewish world doesn't understand how even we do it. They say it's too short, you know. Doesn't work out the marriages, right? The marriages are not working out there. Even though you're allowed to make a soda, an engagement party, but you can't make rikudim mechayles. Obviously, if it's something that has no connection to a mitzvah, you can't do it. You want to make a birthday party, something else, without dancing an extra simcha, you could do that. Mi shakafat v'nasav yamalalo ein koin sidei siklom kim sha'asa mitzvah. How could you give someone a knas for doing a mitzvah? Ava mi shestaper b'yam mehalalo koin sidei sha'avan b'nig taking a haircut on a mitzvah. Knas, those days, it was a kehillah. It was a community. Yisrael, wherever they lived, they had a community, they had a koyach. The Goyim gave the Yidden, the Svardim, the Shekhinah, wherever they lived, they gave them their own autonomy that they could rule over each other. And they could give a knas, and they could control the... This is mainly in non-democratic countries. Countries that that the country has a religion. So let's say it was Christianity or Islam, the country. So they could not they cannot run the Yiddish life because they are a different religion. So they had to allow the Yidden to run their own marriage and take care of yourself, your own marriage, your own divorce, your own Beis HaChaim. And they had a kehillah. And the kehillah had a koyach, the Rosh HaKol, the Shiva Zayin Tuveir. They had a koyach. They could give knossim for different things. They had takonis they could make. So today you don't have this anymore. This doesn't exist anymore. The whole concept after World War II, there's no more concept of kehillah anymore. Kemat, very little. Mish loy gimel mish lekim adayim it's privilege oisha ein mish shamshanu. He has no one to take care of him. He needs someone to help him in the house and everything. The Lach is such a person, he's allowed to get married even the shloishim for his parents. During Sfiyasaymer, the Avelis is only a minik. If during Avelis, which you're chayiv to misabel, alavim shloishim yoyim, you're allowed to get married if you like Kim Pirivirivia or Ein Lemisham Shamshanu. Also came in Sfirasayim. Even though there's a Kavachomer, there's a Kol Shekem, and it makes a lot of sense. The Dinas Elu Nagul Hachmer. We still have the meaning to be Machmer, and we don't get married at all. The night before the bris milah, next morning is going to be a bris. So the Baalei Habris are allowed to take a haircut. Yeah, it's a Kabbalah. It's not a Kabbalah. Yeah, true. Yeah, the halacha emes. Someone needs to, he needs to. Hey, Lamed Gimel Yamim. Elu. These Lamed Gimel days that we have Avelos. When are they? When are these Lamed Gimel Yamim? When do they start? When do they finish? Yesh Oimrim. Some say, Shemaschilim miyemrishus tfilas Oimer, u'masayim belag ba'omer. Sheba'oise yoim meisu ha'achroinim shel chavta al elef. Some people are noyig to maharbe v'simcha on this day. Ve'ein omer beit hachnun. V'shebai b'yoyim paskulamos. Because they stop dying on that day. Some of them were nifter on Lag B'omer itself. So how can you make Lag B'omer a simcha? There was a petitus on that day. In your day, it says that the din of a Yom Acher, the last day, is different. Lag, dai bekach, mutal v'staper bala megimel la'ach shav mash me'yoyim b'lisa v'isho. Now, v'chein lag ve'elach. Code is like this. We know by Shiva, for example. Some of Rachman al is sitting Shiva. The last day, we're Mekel, and we don't require a full 24-hour day. They get up in the morning, right? After davening. Well, you had a whole night. You had a little bit of the morning. Mixes hayoim ikuloi. We're Mekel. The yoyim achar avelos are Mekel. We don't have to do the whole day. They get up after Shachris. Same thing over here. Lamed Gimel Yamim is connected the avelos of for the Chavdal Elef Talmidim Rekiva. So Taket and Lag B'omer itself was also part of the avelos. They were nifter also that day. Some of them. That was the final day. But a yois that you did not take a haircut till the morning. So then you're allowed to now take a haircut and to marry and everything because I have my Lamed Gimel Yamim mixing Kukuli of the last day. One second. Lamed Gimel Be'echa B'Shabbos. What happens Lamed Gimel falls on Sunday? Many years it falls on Sunday. So then what about, in such a case, you're allowed to take a haircut already at a Shabbos, Kavod Shabbos. We do a tziruf. A yois that it's the theme of the Yamim, and it's Koida, and it's at a Shabbos, Kavod Shabbos, where Mekel, even doesn't make sense, because he's still in the middle of the Lamed Gimel Yamim. Right? So, we might Mekel that you could be able to do it, cut it to the Siyum, together with the Kavod at a Shabbos. Uh-huh.
Nobody asked this question?
I think you did last year.
No.
I need an answer, huh? Every year we ask the Manishtana, we already heard the answer. Avodah Mayinu. I don't know. I wasn't there. Yeah, it was like COVID, you know. Maybe they did Zoom. Now, Mikol came.
We know when. We know. Yeah.
Kava, okay, good question you're asking. Maybe somewhere there's a discussion about it. I don't know. Kava, okay, afilu b'lag ba'atzmai, izar shaloi listapa koidim ad hayoyim. Shein eimer mela mixayin kekule aval halayla afilu kula eine kechol hayoyim. You have to wait during the day a little bit. That's the night and mixayim of the day. If you paska velos, v'lei paska velos ad lamachar b'yoyim. Kein tachetus mechashav lav hamagimel. We don't, the Maisa. We don't. We're going to see soon, right here, the next line. According to this Mahalich, you should say Tachlon. Why? Because the night LaG B'omer, you still should not listen to music, should not cut your hair, should not get married. We don't do that way, by the way. We're not knowing like this. As Chassan is the night before, people are cutting their hair, having music already the night before. But according to what we're learning until now, this Shita holds, it's only in the morning. Only until the morning. Cut the hair in Lamadab. They do the wedding, they don't do Lag Ben Gimel? I hear you. So, now, once we learn that the night is still part of the Avelus, there's no Inga not to say Mincha out of LaG B'omer. Why don't we say Tach? What's the Inga not saying Tach? When the night is a Yom Tif, coming up Friday night, coming up Yom Tif night, the Mincha before is already close to the Yom Tif, Shabbos. The Oyer is already Meir, and we don't say Tach. However, if the night of LaG B'omer is still part of the Avelut, and only in the morning it's going to be finished, so the night is not a Zman of Simcha. So therefore we say Mincha the before the night. According to this Shita. We don't hold this way, but according to the Shita. By the way, similar to Pesach Sheni. Pesach Sheni, there's no Inyan of the night. Meaning Sunday night is not Pesach Sheni. Pesach Sheni starts by the day and the next night. Because when did they shech the carbon Pesach? By day, by Erev Pesach, by Sunday Mincha afternoon, we say Tach. Because the night of Pesach Sheni is not a Yom Tov. Same thing, this Shita holds, the night of LaG B'omer is not a Yom Tov. It's Lame Begimel on the Svira, but it's not, it doesn't, Simcha, yeah. Right? So according to the Shita, because of this, you cannot start the Simcha till the daytime. A mix ayam kakule, but the whole night you can't. The Yesh Mekayim is 3 lines from the bottom. We have a different Shita here. The Yesh Mekayim is noyig and shaloimer tach and mincha shal LaG B'omer. We don't say tach. That's what we do. Shesayim chin shebetchilas leil lamed gimel poska avelos. They rely that the Avelos stops in the beginning of the night. LaG B'omer. ולכן אינם מתחת למנחה שלפניו, כמי שאינם מנחה שלפני שאר הימים, שאינם בהם תחנון, שלילה כיומם. And therefore you don't say tachnon, because the night is like the day. לפי מנהגם אותם גם כן להסתפר ולנסוע בלילה מגימל, שפי דבריהם אין נוהגים להביא לסלם בזמן. What's the reason? The Rebbe explains, because this Shita holds that it was only 32 days. It wasn't 33 days. That's why you could start the 9. That's what we're noyig. The Olam, as soon as it hits nightfall, it's going to hit nightfall Thursday night. People are playing music. People are going to bonfires already. And they're cutting their hair. Some people are making late weddings after when it's night. I'll make a wedding. It's hard this year because the first night very late. So
But there are some people, they're noyeg, they don't say tachne the whole height. during the whole week of Hoy, they don't say Tachlin.
Interesting. Some Hasidim don't say Tachlin, the sphere of Hoid. Hoid, Chesed Sheba Hoid, Gvura Sheba Hoid. All that week of Hoid, they don't say. Some say don't say a whole year Tachlin.
What's the reason? I don't know. But I know there are certain Rabbanim or certain Hasidim that don't say during that week.
I'm sure they have a mucker for it.
I'm sure.
Yeah. So Lamaisa, I want to just recap that in Sif Hey, we have two ways how to learn in one Shita. That the third, we know between Pesach and Atzeres, the Gemara says they were nifter. But when is the Avelos time? When were they nifter during Pesach and Atzeres? When is the Avelos time? So this Shita that we're learning now says it was the first 33 days. The beginning. However, in this sheet itself, that it was the beginning, there is a sheet that says it was only 32 days. And therefore, the whole entire Lamed LaG B'omer is, even the night, is already Simcha. And we follow this. That's the minhag here. But now, in Sivav, we're going to learn a new shita that holds the whole Lamed Gimel Yamim is the last Lamed Gimel Yamim, 33 days, of the 49 days. Not the first ones. In there itself, we'll see a second opinion within the second sheet. Vav. Page Taf Mem Hey, Vav. Yeshoimrim, others learn. Shalamid Gimel Yamim Elo, Maschilim Yim Beis L'Chodesh Iyar. From Beis Iyar, start the Lamed Gimel Yamim.
Look back.
Simon, it completes Eresh Shavuos. The last day of the 33 days is Eresh Shavuos. Yeah. But
Look back to make weddings till Rosh Chodesh, and then till Erev Shavuos.
Rosh Chodesh, we're going to see in one line about it. Yeah, a lot of the Litvische Welt, they're doing this. They're doing weddings. Yeah. According to the second opinion, that learns the 33 days of Velus is the last 33 days. How are you allowed to stop and take a break in the middle for LaG B'omer? You're in the middle of your 33 days. Maybe the first Shita holds, it's the first 33 days. How's LaG B'omer? It's finished, finito. But according to the second Shita, that's the last 33 days. LaG B'omer is on Yud Ches Iyar. It's smack in the middle of the Velus. How do we take a break from the Velus in the middle? Said, release LaG B'omer, you're allowed to cut your hair, you're allowed to get married, and LaG B'omer, it's not a day of Velus. How could it be counted as one of the days? This Shita holds that since on LaG B'omer, according to this opinion, the night of LaG B'omer, you're still going to keep all the dinim of Avelos. So therefore, we can count this. It's only the day. We say Miksayim Kedkulei. So we consider this whole day as a day of Avelos. So it doesn't take away from the 33 days, even though you're being Noyig Simcha on LaG B'omer. Valpi Divrei, based on this Shita, comes out a different, a little bit of a different twist. Some are noig, they stop and release the whole shloshim hagbala. They get married and they take haircuts in the 3 days before Shavuos. Shloshim hagbala. Now, you're going to lose out if you start all Shloshim Hagbala, you don't do Avelos, you're not going to have 33 days. They move back a little bit. Instead of starting Beis Iyar, they start in the first day of Rosh Chodesh, which is Lamed Nisan. So they go back and they start Avelos earlier, not in Beis Iyar, in Lamed Nisan. El Sheheim im Staprim v'Noisim b'Rosh Chodesh Iyar el Ad Rosh Chodesh B'Vad. only up to Rish Chodesh. Haftes Nissen, they're marrying and they're taking haircuts. Lama Nissen, Chodesh year, the first Rish Chodesh, they stop. So since they went back, they can now finish earlier. And the Shloshim Agbala is already, it's over the Lamed Gimel Yamim. ולאה בחד שיהיו נגן אבי אסלאם בגיאמה שמסחיר בישחי דשים וסיים בריבוני מרישה של הגבלה ומקסי אויסי יום האחר ככולי הם מסתפרים ונויסים כשהייר יהיה מרישה של הגבלה ואילך. Therefore, says the Alter Rebbe, you're allowed, according to the Shita, to take haircuts and get married as soon as it's the morning of the first day of the Shloshim HaGabala, 3 days before Pesach. So a lot of people are noig this way. A lot of the oilam, the oilam is noig this way. A lot of the oilam is noig this way. Oh, I can remember that. This is what he was saying. Yeah, very interesting. Very interesting. And weddings also. Weddings also. Makes sense, but what do they do? But Lag B'omer, they do music in Lag B'omer. They go to Meron and. Maybe the Syrian's different. Maybe the Syrian community is different. Now, so we had here basically, to recap, we have two general opinions as to when these Lamed Gimel Yom are. Everyone agrees it was 33 days, not 49 days. It was between Pesach and Shavuos, 33 days. The question is the first 33, the last 30. Within each shita, you have a sub-shita, another opinion. The first shita says, one opinion says that it's a full Lamed Gimel Yamim, so therefore, the night of Lag B'omer, going into Lag B'omer, has to be kept ba'avelos. No cutting hair, no weddings. The Simcha doesn't start till the morning. And the 33rd day is still considered part of the avelos, Yamim, because mixes hayom kekuli, since you the whole night and a little bit of the morning you were still noyeg avelos. So we're makel that the last day, like the last day of Shiva, people get up in the morning. We're makel the last day of avelos that it's kiyilu kol hayom kuli. You don't have to have a full so machron avelos the whole day. The second opinion in that mahalach is no. I agree with you. It's the whole first 33 days. I've been good and fine, but I hold that the night of Lag B'omer is already no avelos. Why? How could that be? Then if you get married and you cut haircuts already the night before, from days that you don't have any, you don't have a Lamed Gimel Yamim, because the answer is you're right. That shita holds it was 32 days. 33rd day was when they were no longer dying. And that's the way we're noyik. The whole entire Lag B'omer is not counted. Now, the second shita holds, it's the last 33 days. Start from Beis Iyar, going up until Shavuos, till Erev Shavuos. Erev Shavuos in the morning, Miksayim Kekula, you have your 33 days. In that second shita is a sub shita which says, no, Shloishis Mehagbala already, we're going to be Mekel. How you can be Mekel? You're missing out from the count. They go back 2 days earlier. They say, we only start Avelos from the first day of Rish Chodesh Iyar. Meaning Chaf Tes Nissen is the last day you can get married and take haircuts. Comes that night, Lama Nissen, it's finished. They start the whole 33 days a little earlier. Then there are communities, not most, but some communities that do both. They do both shitas. And they're machmer in the all the days between Pesach and Shavuos. Let's see Zayin. Im yesh lo safek b'minig hamakim. You're not sure what the minig hamakim in this place is. What should you do? Any yachal litvis kule hamanhagim. You cannot say, I want to take the leniencies of each opinion. What are you going to be left with? I'll start late and I'll finish early. I'll start later because the opinion that holds that it starts Rish Chodesh, Beis. I'll finish according to the first opinion that says by Lag B'omer it's over. I'm not going to do till Shloshim Hagbala. So I got all my kulas. Forgot my kulas from each one. The Einish Yinig had to add Rish Chodesh year Kisvar Achrein. You're going to make a heter until Rish Chodesh year. So after Pesach, everything's normal to Rish Chodesh year. And as well, Gam Yinig had to Lag B'omer Ve'elach, Adar it says. So he's showing it like, and then you will also be Neik heter like the first opinion held. That Lag B'omer on, there's no more avails. Why can't you say I want to take these both? What's really wrong? Even Shabbos, Kulas, Elul, Soises, Zuazu. They're contradictory. It's not a problem here that you did two Kulas. You're a Kal and you did two Kulas. It's not just about doing two Kulas. Could be you could do two Kulas. If you have Rabbanim say something to them. The problem is these Kulas contradict each other. Either this one or that one. You can't contradict yourself. What sheet are you following? If you want to be Makel in one area, Makel in the second area, nothing to do with each other, okay? There's room for that. But over here, you want to be Makel Kulis that contradict each other, and you're not being Yoitz anything. However, you can do the opposite. You can be Machmer like bullshit. The Hainish Yinig Isser in Pesach about the Erev Shavuos. You could do an Isser that holds all the Isurim that are Noyig doing Omer. You could start it from Pesach and do until Erev Shavuos. Or Ad Yom Rishon Shel Hagbala, Chutz Lag B'omer. Until Yom Rishon of Hagbala, besides for Lag B'omer. Even though you're Noyig both two Chumras that are contradictory, but I have, just like you had a problem with Beis Kulas, are contradicting each other. These two Chumras are contradicting each other. Either it's the first 33 days, the last 33 days. Not all of them. So you're doing double. We don't give him the term that says in Kehelis, the Shem Melech says that you're like a fool walking in the dark. Why? Meaning you don't know what you're doing. You're in the dark. You know what you're doing. You're like a fool. Even it's not that you're doing it because you really think it's the whole Mem Tes Yamim. No, you know it's 33 days. But you're not sure. You're not a shaita. You're not a ksil. You know. Elamai, you don't know what the minig hamakim in that place is. You're being machmer because you're a chumrah. Different. We call makim in tzarich lasas kain. However, you're not mechayiv to take on both minhagim. You're allowed to. You're allowed to do it, but we're not telling you you have to. Even if you don't know, the minig hamakim, it's not clear what the minig hamakim is. You can choose whichever minig to follow. And we're not concerned that maybe you're really the minig is differently and you're doing something different. Avelus is only a minig. This avelus of Lag B'omer and everything is not halacha. It's called minhag. What we do during these times. Minig alma, we're not suffik minig, we're not mach. And you don't have to be mach when we have suffik minig. Now, but if you come to a place and you know what that place is noig, they're always noig for the Shodesh year till the first day of the Shlosh Me'agbala. Then we don't tell you go and you can choose whichever one you want. You say don't change the minig. Don't be makel in the days that they're machmer. And for carrots, don't be machmer in the days they're makel. Misra shoyskim v'shekein roi las v'adam v'shikim achmin v'shenina da habe kishtei toides. Shuhu machran shemakim mekin lehefe. If you're being machran yourself because you say, I don't know, and I want to be concerned for the other shit, you're allowed to be machran even when the minig amakim is one way. You can add on the minig amakim. Minig amakim is do the second half. I could say I want to do the first half also to be concerned for that thing that's the first half. Okay. But if you do the first half because you want to say that I think you're supposed to do this way, I feel you have to do both. And everyone should do that because the ikr is like the machmirim. That's like two tyrus there. That's the problem. You cannot come to a city and do a different minig. A minig, you want to go against the minig amakim as a chumrah, personal chumrah is one thing. But you do it because you think that that's the way it's supposed to be. It has to be that way. That's wrong. That's called loises koidus. An isser to make agudas different groups in a community that have different tyrus, different ideas. You want to be machmer is one thing, but to come and say that Allah things have to be differently in the minig amakim, you're creating two different communities, different tyrus in one city. Shuhu machmer van shemakim mekin leheva. Yeshbe is a isser, the last line in Tafim Hey, loises koidus. The Torah says loises koidus. Kiloimar. Loi tas agudays. Don't make groups in each city. Groups, different groups. Yeah. I feel mean shein lachash machlekes, but even when there is no machlekes. Kibin going shein hu yichidi be'ir. Habi man shein mokim noigen kach, but habi shein noigen kach. Even a case is not going to count machlekes, you're now allowed to have different groups in one city. It's supposed to be conformity. Even if it's not going to make machlekes, you still supposed to have to conform it. Sivches, afla noigen iser. Kam im adish chodesh iyar. Even those that have an iser, and they hold this aser, even up to chodesh iyar. If it fell on Shabbos for Chodesh, given sheyesh kan tesefes simcha, Shabbos Chodesh, you have an additional simcha, Shabbos and Rosh Chodesh together. Had to stop Erev Shabbos, cover Shabbos. This Erev Shabbos is also Erev Rosh Chodesh. So it's Sayar Erev Rosh Chodesh, Sayar Shabbos. Because of this, we allow you more mekel. Had to stop Erev Shabbos, because Shabbos, we allow you to take a haircut for covered Shabbos. And to get married that day. Ikar Suda is going to be on Shabbos at that night. Shabbos is Chodesh. No music. Yeah. Tiftas. Noigin shoylasis malacha echad anoshim echanoshim koyim esfirim ishkiz lechamad laach esfir sa'imir. Some have a meaning not to do malacha from shkia till after sfir sa'imir. V'rem elazeh shenemar Shabbos Shabbosein Shabbos Shabbotis. Shavuos. שבזמן הספירה משקיע זכם ואילך ישליש בייס מלאכה לאחר שיספר. ואויס אנשים אין ספרס אף שיש בהם מלאכה כל הלילה. The woman doesn't count. Some women don't count Sfira Soimer. They don't count Sfira Soimer. When do they refrain from halacha? They have to refrain a whole night. Because they don't. I don't think mice were no exist. Anyone's wives don't work during the women don't work by menorah lighting. So, but that half hour, many women don't work. I have to work from the whole time of Sfira Soimer. I don't think it's the. The stira in the psukim says, Al tan ksil kivalte. The ksil says something foolish, you don't respond to him. Don't respond to him. Let him say whatever he says and be quiet. Another passage says, Tan ksil kivalte. You should respond to the fool. Put him in his place. The fool. How do we deal with the contradiction? Chazal say like this. One of the pirushim is like this. That it depends what we're talking about. If it's divrei harashos, it's about a worldly matter. Who's the president? If the president is good or not, and all these different things, discussions. And he says something foolish. Al tan ksil kivalte. Don't respond. Let him say what he thinks. There's nothing going to come harm. Let him think whatever he wants to think. However, if it's something about a mitzvah, he says something foolish about halacha, about mitzvah, about something which can come out to wrong understanding of practice and thinking of how we. It's not divrei harashos. Then you have to tell the ksil, this is not the correct thinking. You have to make it clear. People are listening to this and thinking this is okay. Tan ksil about it. Then you have to tell them that the ivelis, the foolish that he's saying is foolish. But let him know. We have to say something. We have to say something always. Say the famous word, it says in Pirkei Avos, in the Perek Aleph, it says, Siyag la chochma shtika. So, chochma, the way to safeguard chochma is by shtika. So, someone's very quiet, doesn't, it's a chacham. Shaila is, the old shaila, what happens if the fool, the shaita, he also reads Pirkei Avos. He sees the Siyag la chochma shtika, and says, you know what, I want to be smart. So now he's going to be quiet. He's going to be shoisik, schweigen, and now the whole test that Chazal gave us won't work anymore because we have no way to know who's a real chacham or not. Maybe the fool. The answer to this is the fool can't be quiet. So even when he reads it says chacham shtika, he still can't be quiet. That's not going to help. So we'll still be able to tell who's a fool. The fool, when he says fool, he talks the whole time. Things are not negeya,
Mm-hmm.
Not things which are not negeya and Torah and Yomim. Tam to put a dvarim, the learning he has to ask. You have a minyan?
Thank you.
Thank you for joining us. Hey, spoke to him recently?
I need a minion over there. There's 10 people.
My pleasure. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Well, they learned that they need a minion.
No, they have a minyan. Baruch Hashem.
Oh, okay, I'm coming.